So I did suggest when I did my trip planning video for the year that I was going to share with you some of our trip plans and how I did it and how we put together the itinerary and what we were going to do. So I'm going to start off with our trip to London. So this is a trip that we suggested we might try and fit in. We've managed to work out the best day for us, which is the weekend before Easter. The kids are still at school. My wife and I can take the Monday and the Friday off work, and we can get a long weekend down in the capital city of the UK. So I'm going to go through some of our plans, what it cost us, and just give you an idea of where we're going and why we're going to do the things we're going to do whilst we're there. So the first thing is that we are going to get the train to London rather than drive. We live up in the northwest of the country, but it is far more convenient for us to get the train if we're going into the centre of London. We don't need the car during the day, so it makes more sense for us to get the train. It avoids any congestion charges and also avoids a good 4-hour drive for me. We're getting the train from Liverpool Lime Street down to London Euston for the 4 of us. So on the Friday we're leaving at about 20 to 8. And we'll arrive in London at just after 10 o'clock in the morning. It's just under 2.5 hours train ride from Liverpool to London. I think there's like 3 or 4 stops. For the 4 of us, that has cost £117 through Trainline. We did look at some other providers, Omeo, but Trainline was the most cost effective for us for the particular trip that we're looking to do. On the way back, we've got 4 seats together at a table. On the way there, our seats are slightly different, so we might have to move things around there. When we get down to London, we are staying in the Premier Inn Farringdon, which is pretty central. It's a decent location for what we're planning on doing, and the cost was £347. £347 direct with Premier Inn on their website. We have paid £15 extra to check in early. Reason for that is, I say we get down to London about 10 o'clock. You can check in from 11 if you have the if you have the check in early option, which means that we are able to, which means we can dump our bags, get ourselves settled, and then go out and have some lunch before we start our itinerary for the afternoon. And the first thing we have planned for that Friday afternoon is we're heading down to Tower Bridge. We're going to do a tour of Tower Bridge. Never done this before. You get to see the engine rooms of the tower where the roadway lifts up, and also get to do the walk across the top, which is something that if you've ever seen Spider-Man Far From Home, you'll know that particular part of London. It's where one of the final scenes are. From there, we're going to head along the River Thames on the north side and go to Monument. Monument is it's a monument to the Great Fire of London of 1666. I seem to recall reading when I was younger that if it fell over, the tip of the tower would be at the location in Pudding Lane where the fire started. I'll be honest, I don't know if that's just urban myth or whether that's actual fact, but I'm sure I'll be able to confirm that on the day. That's going to cost about £18 to go up the monument, and you can't book that. You can't pre-book that. That has to be booked on the day when you get there. After that, we're going to head across London Bridge to the Shard. The Shard is the tallest building in London. They've got a lovely observation deck up there. We're going to book a combination ticket which includes the view up the Shard and the Tower Bridge experience. We're going to book that through Head Out. I can't book it yet. It's going to cost about £45 per person, but I can't book it at the moment because they're not booking for April yet, which is irritating. But it does. It's about £32 if you book direct and £45 if you book just for the Shard itself. With the champagne, but with the combination ticket through Head Out, it's the champagne version as well as the Tower Bridge tour. So even though the boys obviously won't be drinking the champagne, it's still the better option for us. We're going to do that. We're going to try and book that in for about 7:15 on that Friday evening, and the reason for that is that sunset on that day is at 7:51 in London, which means that we should be able to see not only the sun setting, but we'll also be able to see London in both the daylight and a bit of the twilight as well. And so that's the plan for Friday. On Saturday, we are going to do the London City sightseeing bus. Now, if you've lived in or visited any big city, you'll probably have seen the city sightseeing buses. They're red buses with a yellow logo, city sightseeing. They do them in various different cities around the world. I've been on one in Glasgow, I've seen them in Edinburgh, I've seen them in London, I've been on the one in Liverpool. Now, the version in London has 3 different routes. There's a red route, a green route, and a blue route. The red route is most of the touristy stuff. Then there's the other 2, which you can hop on, and they are the hop on, hop off variety of tour. So you'll be able to go in and you'll be able to jump off at various different places. We're planning on getting off at places, the normal London tourist sort of destinations. We're going to get off at Parliament Square, have a look around there. Probably not going to go into Westminster Abbey because it's quite expensive, and we're not sure we'll have enough time to do it, but we'll have a look at that from the outside. Parliament Square, have a look at some of the statues around Parliament Square and the Palace of Westminster and the Queen Elizabeth Tower, which houses Big Ben. We'll also see the Boudicca monument, which is the Boudicca statue, which is quite close by to the Queen Elizabeth Tower. And then we'll do Downing Street, Trafalgar Square, Buckingham Palace, possibly Hyde Park, the Pall Mall, just the normal touristy type places to get your photo taken with. That we might combine that with a boat tour. Combined with a boat tour for the free bus tours and the boat tour for a single day, 24 hours. It says 24 hours, it's not 24 hours at all, because they only run from about 8:30 to about 5:30, so it's not 24 hours, but it says 24-hour ticket. Quibble, quibble. But combined with a boat tour, the bus tour and the boat tour comes to £126 for a family of 4, which is 2 adults and 2 children, which is pretty decent value, I feel, for an entire day's worth of entertainment. We're probably not going to spend an awful lot of other money on other things in and around where we get off the bus. So in the evening on the Saturday, we're not sure what we're going to do yet, but we possibly might have a walk along the embankment to see Tower Bridge and the London Eye all lit up, because I think that'll be quite interesting. On the Sunday morning, we've got something that's we've actually done this before in London. Shrek 4D adventure, the Shrek adventure down on the South Bank by the London Eye. For the family of 4, it's depending on what time you book for the day we're going. It's either £85 or £92. So considering there's like a 15-minute difference, like 10 o'clock in the morning it was £92, and it's 10:15 it was £85, and then 11 o'clock it was £92. I'm assuming this is surge pricing, but I'll certainly be booking one of the £85 ones just because there's very little inconvenience for us for a 15-minute gap. But we've done this Shrek 4D adventure before, but the kids love Shrek, Josh especially. It's just something that I know that our family will enjoy. And it's a good little show. It's quite entertaining. It's not cheap. I'm not going to pretend it is, but it works for us. Then from the Shrek adventure, we're going to head up to the British Museum and look at some of the things that we've nicked from other countries around the world. Political opinions aside, there are some very interesting pieces of history in there that I'd like the boys to be able to see, including the Rosetta Stone. Interestingly, me and my wife visited Cairo about 15 years ago at the Museum of Antiquities in Cairo. They talk about the Rosetta Stone because they have a copy of it. They don't have the original, which understandably they're not particularly happy about, and they have asked repeatedly for it to be returned, much like the Elgin marbles. But again, my political opinions aside on whether we should keep them or not, they are interesting pieces of history that I would like to see. I think they've got an Easter Island statue in there, if I remember rightly, but I may have made that up. And then on the Monday, we'll be getting the train home. We've got nothing specific planned for the Monday morning. Our train is about 2:15 in the afternoon, so we'll be heading over to Euston for about 1 o'clock-ish. We've got nothing specific planned for the morning, possibly a little walk down to St Paul's just to have a look at St Paul's Cathedral. but nothing major planned. And as I've mentioned, don't have anything specifically planned for the Sunday evening or the Saturday evening, aside from having a little walk along the Thames to see some of the things lit up. So if anyone has any ideas of what we could do with some kids in the evening, kids who don't particularly care for sleep, so I will be in no particular hurry to go back and sit in a hotel room with them, but if you've got any ideas of what we can do, please drop it in the comments, let me know. I'm always open to suggestions. If anyone's got any other suggestions on things that they think we should try and do whilst we're in London, we're probably not going to do the Tower of London. Josh and I did that a couple of years ago. We've done the Natural History Museum and the Science Museum a few times, so again, that might be something we miss. That's probably something we're going to miss off the list. But if you've got any suggestions, especially things that aren't going to cost a massive amount of money, please let me know, and I'll see if I can drop them into the schedule. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my ramblings, and I hope that you'll join us for some of the actual footage from the weekend when I release it, probably by Easter weekend. Hopefully by the actual Easter weekend, I'll be able to get it edited and out there. But get out there and explore your world. You have been watching Munchy Road Hippopotamus. Thank you for joining us in our adventures. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy our channel, and tell us about any adventures that you have in the comments below. Get out there and explore your world.